Welcome to Willow View Farm in Suffield, Connecticut, run by Julie the Garden Fairy. You could find her on Instagram at Julie the Garden Fairy, and she has the most amazing flower shop. Look how beautiful this converted barn is. Wait till you see the flower garden. My friend and fellow book club member Lara recommended that we meet up here for book club for the end of September. It was magical. We had a book chat in the garden after cutting flowers, and we also chose our October book of the month, which is The Cider Mill Coven by local Connecticut author Vanessa Abigail Lambert. I hung up our wedding painting in the dining room. I need a frame for it, but for now it just looks lovely here. This was live event painted at our wedding day at Harkness Memorial State Park, and I had a few questions about it on Instagram, so I thought I'd share it with you here. This painting just makes me so happy. For a delicious treat, we are going to make a baked peach. It's very simple. You just take a peach, put on some butter. You're going to sprinkle in some brown sugar and vanilla extract and bake it for about 40 minutes or so. And then it tastes like a beautiful, delicious peach cobbler without, all the breading on top. It's so good. Laura Pemberton is one of my favorite artists. I love her illustrations and the gouache, and I cannot wait to open this puzzle up. It's arrived. It's the Brambly Hedge puzzle. I'm so excited for this one. I'm not very good at large puzzles. I can't do 1,000-piece puzzles, but I do enjoy putting them together and puzzling. This one just has this beautiful design. It's by the New York Puzzle Company. This is the Brambly Hedge design. Isn't that so beautiful? I love the hills. It's by a local New England artist, Laura Pemberton. She lives in Vermont. And I thought this was perfect because it's only 500 pieces, so it's definitely doable for me. It's just absolutely lovely. And I'm going to make this my fall puzzle this year. Monet! Oh my goodness. You are such a curious, nosy little kitty. Hi, baby. So, So Monet heard me opening up the puzzle. He heard the crinkle and wanted to know what it was. My other cat Madeline loves it when I put together puzzles. I have all these little Christmas puzzles I like putting together over the holidays, and she could sit there forever and just watch me put them together piece by piece. She just enjoys it so much. So I wonder how Monet will react. My guess is he's going to try to steal my pieces and walk all over it. But oh wow, this is just a lovely, like the pieces, they have like this canvas kind of quality to them. Aren't those nice? So I guess this is one of my fall activities I've been looking forward to. Hello, I'm coming to you from my living room. I wish I could share my book recommendations in our library, but the library just isn't ready yet. There's still some boxes I need to unpack, lots of paper to sort through. I'm definitely someone that has a hard time going through paper, and it just, accumulates. And but my next project for the cottage is decorating the library. Oh, there's Madeline. And I just want to also, it's not just decorating the library, it's also creating a nice workspace for myself. I work remotely a lot of the time, so having a home office would be really beneficial. So I'm looking for a desk. I want to wallpaper a wall in there, put in some curtains, and a couple cozy reading chairs so my husband and I could actually use that space as a designated reading space and spend time together. So that's one of the projects, one of many projects we want to do for the house. So far, the only rooms really put together are the living room, and the dining room is getting there. So that'll be nice and cozy. I have a cup of hot apple cider right now with my pumpkin mug. And it's just so cozy. I got these mulling spices at March Farm, a local orchard near us, and they had this beautiful thing of like all these different seasonings, and I got the mulling spices, but it's very good. So here are some of the book recommendations I have. There's quite a few. I'm making several videos. I have a whole video of just witchy book recommendations, books about witches, whether they're mysteries or romance. So I have a whole bunch of witch books coming. So my fellow witch fans, I've got you covered. Also, I'm going to be sharing a video of vampire reads, some of my favorites from when I was a teen. I have a lot of favorite early 2000s and 1990s vampire books that I was crazy about. This is going back before Twilight. But anyway, I wanted to share some of the children's books first. I've been reading a lot of children's stories, catching up on the ones that I missed out on as a kid, but also the magic of the authors that are out today. So I have a few in here. One is, I love this book. This was one of my favorites. It's Matilda. So I have Matilda from Roald Dahl. I like watching the movie every fall. I did watch the musical recently on Netflix. At first I didn't like it and I turned it off. I was like, it's not bad, it just wasn't for me. It was for, you know, targeted for little kids, of course, it's a children's film. But then I saw all these YouTube videos about the movie, the musical, and I knew I had to give it a second chance and I ended up crying. So I do recommend like getting through the first couple songs and you'll really be impressed by the little girl that plays Matilda in the new musical. But of course the 90s film always has my heart. I grew up with it. I really identified a lot with Matilda. Hey Madeline. Hello. She's joining the book discussion. Other classics I have is Never Been Kissed. Again, love the movie. This is the novelization. If you don't know it, it's like a 1990 film, 1998, I think, or 99. It has Drew Barrymore, David Arquette, and Josie is a journalist that she's never been kissed. Her high school experience was awful, but she was assigned to go back to high school undercover as a student, even though she's about 30. So it's quite the story. It's a lot of fun. She does fall in love. There's a couple problematic things in it, of course. It's the 90s. Times have changed, but it's still one of my favorites. I also have My Girl, the novelization, again, based on the movie, another 90s classic. Again, I was a 90s girl. I grew up in the 90s, and so these have my heart. And of course, I had to put in another Roald Dahl, James and the Giant Peach. Such a fun one to read in the fall. I don't know, his stories are very much back to school time for me. That's part of my childhood. And so James and the Giant Peach is one. I also had the Nevermore series. I didn't finish it, but this is the first one, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. I heard it's kind of like the new Harry Potter. Don't come at me if you're a big Harry Potter fan and you don't like the series. I haven't read it, but I've heard for fans of Harry Potter that this is a good version of, there's magic and there's a female lead and she's cursed. This young girl is cursed. It says, born on Eventide, the unluckiest day any child to be born, Morrigan is blamed for all local misfortunes, and worst of all, the curse dooms her to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. So again, 11, just like Harry Potter, there's magic. It says, but as Morrigan awaits her fate, a remarkable man named Jupiter North appears, whisking her away into the safety of a secret magical city called Nevermore. Hogwarts, maybe? It's in Nevermore that Morrigan discovers that she must contend for a place in the city's most prestigious organization, the Wondrous Society. Morrigan must compete for 4 dangerous trials against hundreds of other children, or she'll have to confront her deadly fate. And it does say on here, fans of Harry Potter, ask adventure, so that one's a children's series. And then this is a children's series that came out when I was younger, and I didn't get the chance to read it. It's the Inkheart series by Cornelia Funk. So I have all 3. I thrifted these off of Mercari, I think is the name of the website online. But I wanted the originals from when they came out when I was a kid, so I got the first one, Inkheart. The second one is Ink Spell. And the third one is Ink Death. This one's the biggest one. I don't know if I'll read all 3 of them, but I definitely want to finish the first one. That's on my fall reading list. I did see the movie. It came out when I was a freshman in college in 2008. It was the second movie that my husband and I went to go see together when we first started dating in theaters. And it was just so much fun. I can't remember most of the movie though. So I would like to read the book and then watch the film. Madeline has joined us. She's such a sweetie. But I figured I would share some of the ghostly reads. So Halloween, October is here, so Halloween is, to me, it's all of October. So I got some ghostly reads, or at least books about spirits or similar. So this one, I'm gonna go fast because there's quite a few, but I have the Kindred Spirits Supper Club. It's about a woman that does see ghosts. It's a contemporary romance. I have the 7-Year Slip. And this is one of the books from, I was obsessed with The Dead Romantics last year. This is the same author. This is her second book. And again, it's another ghostly romance. Not quite a ghost. It kind of reminds me of The Lake House, where she's falling in love with a man, but he lives 7 years in the past, but he keeps showing up in her kitchen. So it's kind of like a bit of a spirit thing, but he's still alive. Pretty cool. And I'm a big fan of The Lake House this time of year with Sandra Bullock. It's such a good movie. And Keanu Reeves is in it. It's just perfect fall, especially if you grew up in New England or on a lake like I did. The Lake House is just one of my favorites. And then I have The Only Purple House in Town. Again, this one's an inn. There's a historic inn that the main character, her name's Iris Collins. She's kind of known as a failure in her family. She hasn't quite reached her potential, at least what she thinks is her potential, and people always kind of assume she's not going anywhere, which, I don't know, I think a lot of us could relate to that feeling of wanting to succeed and having people think we're not doing enough. But anyway, she inherits an inn, and she restores this inn or bed and breakfast. And there are some ghostly encounters, I think, in this book. Again, it's a contemporary romance. And then this one is a book on my witchy read list, but I'm sharing it with you as well because it's another book about an inn in Connecticut. I'm a Connecticut girly, so it just sounded like fun. I'm a big fan of The Spirit of Christmas. The Spirit of Christmas is it's a Lifetime movie. It takes place in an inn in New England at Christmas time. There's a ghost, and in that movie, the ghost comes back every year for, I think, a week leading up to Christmas, the 7 days of Christmas or something like that. This one's different. There's twin ghosts, and they are trapped at the inn except for one day every year. And so it just sounded really, really intriguing. You know, there's a witch in it, there's ghosts. So you will see this on my, actually, I'm not even sure if she's a witch, but there's definitely some sort of spell going on. Okay, now for the cozy fall romance reads. I have just a couple of them for you. 2 of them are by Beth Labonte, I'm not sure if that's how to say her name, but Pumpkin Everything was turned into a Hallmark movie last year, so I read this and then I ended up seeing the movie. It was really cool. Cute story, all the Hallmark romance autumn vibes. And then she has Maple Sugar Crush. It's another one. I mean, how cute are these? Funny stories, I was reading this one out at Topsmead at the forest, and I was walking and a bunch of tourists were horseback riding through, and I was wearing my fall leaf sweater. I had this book and my bean boots, and I was walking along and reading, and this person turned to the other as they were going by on the horses, and she goes, "Yeah, now I feel like I'm in Gilmore Girls." I was like, oops. I looked so much like, I guess, Rory with her books. Noah's always in a book, right? And then another cozy one I have is The Cafe Between Pumpkin and Pie. These are a few different romance stories, and I just picked it up last autumn for fall. It just looked super cozy, cottagecore, autumn, New England vibes, and the cover was just super cute. Okay, so we're almost to the bottom of the pile. I have a couple more left, but first I want to show you the mysteries. The first one is The Woman in the Library. This one takes place, I believe, at the Boston Library. I don't read a lot of murder mysteries, but this one just sounded so intriguing to me. I don't think this one's romance at all. It's definitely just a scary book about a woman being murdered in the library, and they close up the library and one of them's the killer and the rest are suspicious and nobody knows who did it. But it sounded really interesting. It takes place at the Boston Public Library, which is a really beautiful library. I love it. So again, spooky vibes, New England, autumn, Boston Public Library, a reading room, and murder. So if you like murder mysteries, got you covered. I also have A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. This one is like a Jane Austen inspired murder mystery. Let's see, it's definitely Regency romance kind of era. But yeah, it's a lady that doesn't quite fit the mold of being a real lady, and then murder happens and she decides to solve it. So girl power, murder mystery, Regency era. Cute cover too. The cover is really cute, and there's little frogs on the back. Again, I haven't read it yet, but it's on my list. These are all like, ooh, I can't wait to dive in. And then Sense and Second Degree Murder. This is a series, it's young adult. It's these are mystery series based on the Jane Austen novels. They have quite a few of them now. Let's see, there's Pride and Premeditation is another one. They're in the young adult section at Barnes & Noble. And I'm a big Jane Austen fan, so I just thought this would be like a fun, spooky Halloween type read, but for Jane Austen fans. Alrighty, I'm down to the last 3 books. I'm losing my sunlight, so I gotta be fast. But I figured fall is the time for fairy tales for me. Fairy tales are often very spooky. If you've ever read the Brothers Grimm, they are a little spooky. And they make me think of autumn, especially if you've seen the Brothers Grimm movie, which again, one of my favorite autumn movies to watch. You know, there's fairy tales, there's woods and romance, and it's just spooky and cozy at the same time, and beautiful and eerie. So fairy tales are the way to go. I have The Shadow in the Glass. It is a fairy tale based on Cinderella. So again, I'm a fairy tale girl. This one looks like a lot of fun. And then I have 2 more romances for you. I know. But one of them is a Spinster's Guide to Danger and Dukes. So this is for my Regency era romance girls and boys. My fans of romance at all is, it just sounded really intriguing. The Amanda Collins books are just adorable. I can't wait to read this one because I haven't read any of her books yet, but there's several others that sound really intriguing, and so I want to read this one so I could get to the other ones too. And then the last book, the absolute last one, is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. Now, I love Frankenstein. It's a short book. Oh gosh, is it Mary Shelley? I know her last name's Shelley. I'm blanking on the first name. I think it's Mary Shelley. And it's a short story. Of course, you've probably heard of it, but people always confuse the monster with Frankenstein. Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, Dr. Victor Frankenstein. And I went for as Halloween. Matthew and I did a couple's costume, and I was Dr. Victor Frankenstein. My husband was the monster because he's 6'2". It was perfect. I was like, this is great. Everyone looked at my husband and was like, Frankenstein. I was like, no, I'm Frankenstein. His name is the monster. That's why he's angry. The monster is angry because Dr. Victor Frankenstein, who made him, doesn't care about him. He's scared of him. He doesn't even give him a name. Okay, so I just thought it's just such a funny story, and I mean, I guess it's not funny, it's spooky, but to me it's kind of funny, and it is eerie. There's murder in it, but this one is about a woman named Angelica Frankenstein. So this isn't Victor, this is Angelica, and she creates her perfect man, and it takes place in the 1800s. Very spooky. She goes into a morgue to recreate her lost love who died, or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't read it yet, but it sounds so intriguing. So this is definitely a Halloween read. I know monster romance is like a thing right now, which, I mean, I guess I'm not surprised because there's werewolf romance and there's vampire romance, and believe me, I've read both. I'm definitely was a big vampire girly. But yeah, the monster romance genre, I don't know. I haven't read any of them. I don't want to knock any reading books. any reading at all, because I think books are amazing. I think people love what they love, and people are so creative these days. There's so many amazing stories, but I don't know, the monster romance doesn't sound like it's for me. But with the spirit of Halloween, I thought this book was just the way to go. So we shall see. It sounds kind of spooky, but it's supposed to be romantic. It's a romance novel in the romance section. But yeah, she kind of makes a Frankenstein, except a Frankenstein monster, but he's supposed to be handsome, I guess, and not spooky and scary. I can't believe I picked up this book. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, those are the books that I picked out to read. And let me get my hot cider before it gets cold. Madeline's falling asleep. I'm putting her to sleep with my boring talking, isn't it? Oh, yeah, she's such a sweetie. But anyway, yes, I'm excited for all the fall reads. I'm definitely embracing the spirit of autumn all of a sudden. I've been decorating and it's just feeling super cozy. Today was a warm day though, that's why I'm wearing like a skirt and my button-down top. But next week it's gonna be super chilly again and all that fall crisp vibes. I took a week off and I'm going to do all the fall things. So I'm excited to share that with you. And yeah, thank you for being here. I hope you come back and that you see the vampire books and the witch books that I have if you're a fan of book recommendations. I love chatting about books, so if you want to comment about your favorite autumn read, I would love to hear it. My list, as you know, is like a mile long, but I enjoy it so much. So thank you for being here. And if you're a new visitor, welcome. I appreciate you. If you are coming back, thank you so much. And I hope to see you again soon. All right, take care. You're so sweet.